Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg, and welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. Another brunch is done, another board game day is done, another week is done. So let's kick the shit and chat it up. That's what we do. Playing some more Demon Souls today, get prepared for Bloodborne. So excited. So excited. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Yeah. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. You know how it is. And, yeah. Gotta get rid of some shit. Okay, so as far as this week and the coming week, as the channel is concerned, I started the Baldur's Gate 2 stuff this week, as I'm sure most of you noticed, and that was probably a bit of a surprise to some people. It was a surprise to me. I wasn't planning on starting up Baldur's Gate 2, but I'm happy that we did. We're having a lot of fun with it. We're probably gonna play some more tonight. It's just a damn good game, as I'll talk about later. It's good stuff. I'm glad we did it. And I don't know if we'll go through the whole game. It is a long game, but there'll definitely be some more episodes, so don't sweat it. Yeah. There was role manging for the Bryson Springs stuff. I really enjoyed that, even though it kind of was ridiculous. It was a good time, and there'll maybe. There probably be that was a good sentence. There'll probably be a change in the structure and timing of when we do role manging and the role stuff in the future. We're thinking of switching to Sundays, which means I don't know how that's gonna work as far as board game day, and then I do Hanging with Mangg, and then I do the Roll20 stuff, and then I have to do role manging, and then I have to do Secrets of Role Manging the next day. Oof. Yeah, that's hectic, but I guess that's what it might have to be. I'll talk about the restructuring later. Yeah, it's really just kind of, let's wait until Bloodborne comes out, and then it'll be awesome, I hope. And really, I'm not even recording Bloodborne, but I'm going to be powering through it, so most of my free time will probably be spent on Bloodborne, and then I'll be playing through it, so, yeah. But yeah, other than that, I'm not playing much, not recording much. So if you don't like Baldur's Gate 2, well, that's a bummer, but, there's not much else really going on. If you don't like Baldur's Gate 2 and you don't like, role manging, it's not a great time to be a Mangg fan. But I'm sorry, that's just the way things are. Yeah, most of my free time this week was spent either playing Baldur's Gate 2, reading the Call of Cthulhu campaign book, or playing Monster Hunter. And I didn't even play that much Monster Hunter this week. Yeah. I did stream on Saturday, but I don't know if anybody saw. Nobody ever said anything in chat. I don't think I had any viewers. I streamed Demon Souls, which is why I'm farther than I was last time. God damn it. And it posts on Twitter when I'm streaming, but nobody looks at Twitter. And no, I guess nobody was interested. It's whatever. So I sat there and just played the game for like an hour and a half or so, and then that was it. So yeah, that was that. Like Saturday streams are not like a regular thing, and I'm not gonna make them a regular thing. So being sporadic like that doesn't help. But whatever, no harm done. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so board games this week. Okay. So the big thing in board games this week was I finally picked up... I picked up some expansion stuff for Descent, which we haven't played yet. Because it's really tough for that same group to get together to continue our Descent campaign, which is a big bummer. Because I really want to do that. It's a fun-ass game, and I want to keep going, but... Got to get those same 4 people together. Maybe we can add somebody, and then that's probably, god damn it, not going to happen on a board game day, so it has to happen on another day, and it's tricky. But I just bought, like, the conversion kit, which is like, it was like 20 bucks, something like that. And the conversion kit gives you basically 48 new heroes and 25 new monsters. And these are basically all cards, heroes and monsters converted from the first edition Descent for use in the second edition. So it's just the cards. You have to supply your own miniatures, you know, either on your own or from the first edition game. But it's everything from first edition, like all the expansions, everything. And so obviously I never owned the first edition, but this is a huge bang for your buck. It's just 20 bucks and you get that much new shit. And it's like, I don't need their custom miniatures for heroes, you know, it's like whatever. So that was a really good deal. When I'll get to play with it, I don't know. But I wanted it, because whatever. I also got more dice, because I don't like handing out, shuffling around that damn blue dice over and over. So I bought that, but then I also bought with that, just kind of really on a whim, I bought the Lord of the Rings, the living card game from Fantasy Flight. And I knew about this game, but I passed on it before. But now I picked it up because it's a cooperative card game, and I'm constantly on the lookout for good cooperative games. And I don't like a lot of them because I tend to quarterback. So I'm constantly on the lookout for for cooperative games that don't involve any quarterbacking, which is not too common. There aren't many of those out there. And but I found a really good one here with Lord of the Rings, the living card game. And I really like it because it combines the living card game format of like Android Netrunner, which is really good. And it combines the kind of deck building and, you know, the kind of solid mechanics of something like Netrunner with the real thinky, strategic, you know, like plot it out and figure out the numbers and all that kind of stuff of something like Sentinels of the Multiverse or Mage Knight or something like that. And so it does remind me a lot of Sentinels in that aspect. I'm not sure if I like it better than Sentinels or not. They're pretty damn close. They're definitely both top 3 co-ops for me right now. Lord of the Rings might surpass it with if I keep getting more cards. I'm not sure which theme I like more. I do like superheroes a lot, but Lord of the Rings is pretty good. So yeah, it's Lord of the Rings themed, and it is cooperative. It's best with 2, apparently, but you can play up to 4 if you get multiple core sets. And really, you don't even need multiple core sets, but you can look into that on your own. But yeah, it's a cooperative game. In which case, you can play solo. You can do that if you want, although it's pretty tough sometimes. So you or some friends basically go on different quests in which you have a set deck of different cards, and you have heroes. And your heroes, you always start with the same heroes of your deck that you assign. So your heroes might be like Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas. You know, you could do that. I think they're all different spheres of influence. But, so your heroes are like always out there, and then your deck consists of like allies and attachments and events and stuff that, you know, help you out. So Aragorn might be a hero, and like a guard of Gondor might be an ally, you know. So he's like just some chump for the most part. But they also have some good allies like Faramir and things like that. And, that's shit. I'm not sure if I can talk much during this fight. Hold on. Oh, roll. What the hell was I saying? God, it's so weak. It's so weak. And so you go through these different quests, and so like the first starting tutorial, whatever quest is passage through Mirkwood or something like that. And so you're just trying to make it through Mirkwood Forest. And so each quest has multiple like quest segments. I don't know what they call them. And you basically have to. I'm not going to go into the mechanics. It's a little tricky. I won't go through it all, but basically you need to progress through the area of the quest, and which represents kind of your movement through the area. But then every turn, like shit from the encounter deck is going to be coming out, and these can be monsters, these can be different locations, or just treachery cards, shit happening, and you got to kind of all deal with it. And so it's cool because like every quest feels very thematic, I guess. Like when you're going through the Mirkwood, you're encountering different spiders, and the different locations are all kind of, you know, forest stuff and things like that, and it's really cool. And then you like the second quest that we did was like the journey down the Anduin, and so you're encountering more, you know, orcs and crap like that, and just bullshit. And it's cool because they can custom every quest to feel very thematic. Why did I cast a spell? And then every deck kind of feels thematic. Fuck. It's a good game. It's a good game. It's got a shit ton of expansions because it's Fantasy Flight. It's a living card game. They got expansions for days. The core set is, it's a decent start, but it's almost like a trial. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, we got this core set, but you'll run out of, you know, you'll want more almost immediately, you know, and that's where we're at. So today I pre-ordered the new version of Super Dungeon Explorer, and I needed some extra stuff to put it over $100, so I got some Lord of the Rings stuff. I got like the first deluxe expansion, crap like that, because that's Fantasy Flight knows how to print money. So yeah, that was really cool, and I've been playing with Ziggy. That I didn't mention that, but it's been me and Ziggy, and I've been doing a little stuff solo, and yeah, it's just really cool because it's like Netrunner. Again, it hits a lot of points that I like about Netrunner. I think Netrunner's still better, but it hits a lot of the same points, and so it's like I was talking with Ziggy. I was like, oh, you know, you can start to customize these decks, and you can mix spheres of influence, and you can start to get more complicated, and so I just like. On my own, I was just like, oh, I mixed up a lore/leadership deck, and then you could just run it through Mirkwood on your own, you know, to test it out. And with Netrunner, you can't really test out any deck ever on your own. It just doesn't work like that. And so it's really cool for that. Yeah, so I like it. I like it. Again, I'm really hoping that after we kind of burn out on Lord of the Rings, Ziggy will want to hit up Netrunner afterwards, but we'll see. Okay, so yeah, I picked up that. I also picked up Cyclades this week. That was just a complete, total whim. Because I think I was watching like this Shut Up and Sit Down review of like one of the expansions. And I was just like, oh, Cyclades, I've heard of that. Ordered. I have no idea. I got like a $100 Amazon gift card for getting a Discover card. So I was like, oh, this thing's just, if I don't spend this $100 gift card, it's going to go away real soon. I don't know. So whatever. It's good. Cyclades looks pretty cool. It seems pretty similar to Kemet, which I still haven't played, so I don't know why I ordered Cyclades. But it seems like a pretty solid game. It's pretty fairly high ranked. Yeah, okay. Friday night I played some Lord of the Rings with Ziggy, and then I played Baldur's Gate 2, and then I had a couple friends that were like, hey, you want to play Castles tonight? And I'm like, it would have to be kind of late, like 12:30, and they're like, oh, that's no problem. So they show up to my house at like 1 o'clock. We play Castles of Mad King Ludwig till like 3 a.m. or something. And I stopped winning at that game now. I'm at where I should be, where I no longer ever win games. So, do you want to roll past him? I don't remember. Yeah, I don't mind playing Castles. It's just kind of a game you don't have to think too hard about. But, yeah, it's not going to make my top 10 list ever. Suburbia, maybe. I probably should pick up Suburbia at some point. I do like that game. So that was Friday night. Today we had 6 people, we had a few hours, and I was like, you want to play a few small games or one big game? And we ended up playing the Game of Thrones board game. Finally, I got I had owned that for so long. God damn, Flame Lurker. I don't think I'll ever beat him while I'm talking. So yeah, Game of Thrones. And Game of Thrones, the board game, it bears a lot of similarity. It's kind of like Risk meets Diplomacy with a bunch of its own shit involved, wrapped around the Game of Thrones license. If that appeals to you, then yes, pick it up. It is very Game of Thrones-esque, but it is also a pretty heavy game. Like, when I first picked it up, obviously I set it all up, I learned everything, I was like, alright, I feel pretty comfortable teaching this game. And then, 6 months go by or whatever, and it's just like, I don't remember how to play this shit. So, I remembered the basics, so I wasn't totally blind, but I was explaining things, and it took us a while to get going, and they were just like, should we just play Pit? And it was like, no, we're sticking through this. And the first turn was just like, nobody knew anything that was going on. And finally, like I said, it was like, towards the end, we'll get it. We'll get it, don't worry. And that's exactly what happened. Towards the end, we all started to get it. And so strategy for a big game, first game of that, is just like, nobody knows anything of what's going on. There's no way you're going to figure shit out. And, so yeah, I played the Starks, which was a mistake for the first game, because I think for the Starks to win, or to even have a chance of winning, they need to make an alliance very quickly with either the Greyjoys, which probably won't happen, or the Lannisters, I would say. Maybe the Baratheons. But yeah, there were no alliances throughout the whole game because we were just trying to learn shit. So the Greyjoy player just kept on reaming my butt, and just non-stop. Every turn was just, we were conflicting. And if the Starks can't really break free, they're trapped. And so I tried to eventually break free. I took some ships and went down to the Erie, but you get spread so thin then, there's just not much you can do. You want to hold Winterfell, so you have to leave shit behind, but then you have no forces advancing. Meanwhile, Baratheon and the Lannisters are just building all their shit right in the middle there, so you're just kind of trying to sneak in, and it's probably never going to work. So we ended early after like 3 hours or so because Mert had to leave. We only made it to like round 7, but the Lannisters were leading at the time, so we gave it to Ziggy. We'll definitely play it again at some point, but it does require a considerable time commitment. God damn it. Yeah, it requires a time commitment, and it requires, it's a strategy game. It's a thinker. It's not just casual, oh, let's play a board game. It's like you're sitting down for an event, you know. But we liked it. We'll definitely play again so we can make more alliances and get more involved with strategy, because really it was just a learning game. But yeah, it was decent. It was basically a great excuse for me to just throw as many expletives as possible at the Greyjoy player, just every turn, insulting his very character. What am I doing? That was no way. I'm never gonna beat this one talking. Yeah, and so then the kind of the big development for board games for us is there's a thing on Steam. You may have heard of it, probably not. It's called Tabletop Simulator. And basically what it is, it's a program that really just simulates a tabletop. And so you just get this digital table, and you get digital cards, digital dice, all that kind of stuff, and you can just, it very much just simulates a tabletop experience. There's really not many rules. There's just, it'll handle the dice rolling, it'll handle card shuffling, and you know, there's bags and there's counters and stuff like that, and you just kind of you can grab cards and you can roll dice and shit like that. It's very kind of Gary's mod for tabletops. And I've known about this thing for a while. I heard about it a little while back, and it intrigued me, but at the time it seemed really rough, and there wasn't a great deal amount put out for it, because people can put in custom images and stuff like that, so there's a lot of popular board games on there. You know, you just import the Monopoly board and, you know, little pieces and stuff like that, and boom, you have Monopoly and Tabletop Simulator. And so there wasn't a lot for it at the time. I kind of just was like, okay, I'd rather just have real board games. But now it was kind of refreshed in my mind, because Total Biscuit and that the co-optional crew or whatever, they did a playthrough of Battlestar Galactica on there. And I was like, what? Like, this is actually solid enough now where people are playing Battlestar Galactica on Tabletop Simulator. And yeah, they played the full game of it. And apparently it was pretty good. And I didn't watch the video, because I probably should, but that's pretty long. I'd rather just play the game. But I watched a little snippet of it, and yeah, it's Battlestar Galactica. So I was like, all right, I gotta look into this. And so I looked into it further, and they've made a bunch of improvements from what I saw, and there is a shit ton of games now available for it. And these are not, like, officially, like, you know, the Tabletop Simulator company is putting out these mods. This is just fan stuff. It's all done Steam Workshop and stuff. But there's, like, everything. Like, most games that I own are on there in some form. And some games I would never play on there. It'd just be a nightmare. Like, Game of Thrones or something I would never play. It's just too fiddly. It'd be annoying. But a lot of, like, Battlestar I would definitely play. Dead of Winter I would definitely play. You know, The Resistance, or Werewolf, or, you know, Coup, you know, Skull, all this shit, I would definitely play. Chinatown is on there. And, so I was telling everybody about it. I was like, we should get in on this, because the chance to play Chinatown or Battlestar Galactica whenever we want is really tempting. And it's $15. I was like, how could you really go wrong with that kind of value? And so, yeah, I think we're all gonna pick it up. I picked it up. I was looking into it, and Mert bought it. Ziggy's definitely gonna get it. Studs will get it. So yeah, so that's gonna be really cool, because that makes it so much easier then for me to just record it and show it to you guys. So you may be seeing a video of Chinatown or something very soon on Tabletop Simulator. And Chinatown's a good choice, because most of it is just negotiation, you know. Most of it is just talking. You can hear us just kind of talk back and forth. There's not a whole lot of game there, so it's a good choice, I think. So yeah, you can look forward to potentially seeing that. Battlestar would be a lot of fun, because I'm very accusatory in games like that. I get very vocal. Even in, like, Game of Thrones, I get very vocal. I don't know if I'll swear that much if I know I'm recording, but yeah. So that's really cool. That's really cool. Board games they're on the comeback. Obviously, the downside of Tabletop Simulator is basically if you don't own the board game or you don't have a good understanding of how to play it, you won't be able to just... It doesn't replace buying board games. I don't. Maybe for some games, like the Resistance or something, you could just read the rules of Resistance online and just play it there, and you'd never need to own it. But for something like Dead of Winter, if you don't know how to play that game, you're not just going to learn through Tabletop Simulator. I don't think that's happening. And for some games that come with, like, adventure books or, you know, separate books that you need to follow through, yeah, you're probably not going to get that. It's better if you own the game and just kind of occasionally play it on simulator, I think. But either way, it's going to be cool. Okay, so moving on from board games, video games. The MOH Rabbit, who you remember last time was in the process of working on a game for Mangg, he asked me if I could provide a list and maybe talk about my top 10 video games of all time. And so I could have made this a separate video, but I'm a lazy asshole, and so whatever. I will talk about that now. Top 10 video games of all time. It's an interesting question, because really the question is, how do you rank, you know, your top games? Like, what's the factor that really puts it on the list? Is it playtime? Is it just pure playtime? Because then, you know, World of Warcraft would be number one for me. I'm pretty certain. It'd be like World of Warcraft, Diablo 2, Monster Hunter, Dark Souls. That's probably what it would be. So I don't think it's playtime. I don't think we'll go by that. Is it what I think is just a solidly made game? Like, The Last of Us, I think, is a very well-made game, but it's not on my list, you know. So I configured the list as the games that I would be most likely to, on like a rainy Saturday afternoon, just be like, I want to play this, you know? And so that's how I made the list. So a lot of it is kind of nostalgic, but I think that would be the list regardless. God damn it. So most of these, I don't know if I'd put in any real order except probably the top two. Top two are pretty solid. The rest you could kind of flip around. I'll just kind of talk briefly about them to give MOH Rabbit a decent idea of what I'm into. Okay, so number 10, although, you know, whatever, is Modern Warfare 2. And this one, I was kind of like, I was hesitant to put this on there because this might fall under just time spent. I don't know if I would be very inclined to play this on a Saturday afternoon, but, you know, I'm a fan of first-person shooters, and this would be the only one on the list. And it's kind of like, if any of my friends ever mentioned playing Modern Warfare 2, I would be like, yes. I would absolutely agree instantly. Like, it's just... I have so many fond memories, and I still think that it's just... A lot of people will shit all over it, and I know. And Call of Duty nowadays is not what it was, and so on and so forth. And really, specifically, I guess I'd be talking about the third-person mode, because that's what I would be playing. And I don't know if this really helps MOH Rabbit at all, so I probably shouldn't have included it on the list. But I guess that inclusion on my list is just kind of the power that friends can have when playing a game. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't even have to be that great of a game. It's just the fact that you're playing with other people that you really, you know, enjoy spending time with, that really modifies your experience so much. like I said, I don't think I'd ever play Modern Warfare 2 again on my own. Because it's just like, I'd rather be doing other stuff. But, I mean, from this top 10 list, playing with other people, there's not much I'd rather play than Modern Warfare 2 with a certain group of people. It's really high up there for that. Number 9 is Earthbound. Earthbound for the Super NES. When I was probably, oh boy, 7, maybe 8, we went up north to my grandpa's cabin where we were spending the weekend, and it was a pretty cool little cabin. I have no idea what happened to this. We've never gone back. I don't know. He must have sold it or something. But it was right like on the lake. It was like right on the lake, and so it overlooked it, and so you could go out onto the balcony and fish right out from there. It was really cool. I don't know why I don't know what happened to it. But anyways, on the way up there, like right in the town nearest to it, there was a Blockbuster. And so, of course, you know, my brother and I we were huge gamers at the time, and we're still pretty big gamers and so on and so forth. We played all sorts of shit. And, so we stopped at Blockbuster because we're like, yeah, you know, there's fishing, and we like fishing and all that, but Blockbuster, you know, video games. And so we went in there, and, of course, we had brought along our Super Nintendo. And so we rented this game with a kind of a weird cover, no weird name, called Earthbound. And we played this game at my grandpa's cabin, and my grandpa's cabin smelled really weird. So that's like a key part of this memory for some reason, is it smelled weird. But this game, god damn it. This game, I don't even really remember much of playing it up there. But it's set such like a key part of my memory of just this really weird, quirky game. And really, I probably didn't even play it much. It was probably my brother playing and me watching. But it was just so different than everything else I'd played, you know? Because at this point, I've played, you know, Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger and Breath of Fire and Lufia. You know, I've played all the kind of serious fantasy-esque RPGs. But this one was just, it had a kid, it had a baseball cap, he was in this little normal town, but all this weird stuff. It was so weird. And so that kind of set my love for Earthbound right off the bat from there. And yeah, that is definitely a game that I'll play on a Saturday afternoon. It's just so quirky and lovable. Like the music and the art and just the story, everything is just so great. Big fan of Earthbound. Really great. Because it's so unique, you know? At the time, at least, it was very unique. I think I played Mother 1 at some point on an emulator, but I didn't get very far. And then I played, I don't know if I played Mother 3 at all. Maybe a little bit. I didn't get into it the same way. No nostalgia factor. So yeah, that's number 9, I guess. God damn it, Flame Lurker. Number 8. Number 8 I'm kind of lumping together because they're pretty similar games. Although they're not really, but I'm lumping it together because it's whatever. Number 8 is Secret of Mana / Secret of Evermore. God damn it. Wasted, like, all my full moon grass. Secret of Mana / Secret of Evermore. And I'm lumping these together because they're very similar as far as gameplay goes. And I think that's kind of the key aspect. But they would both be in the list because of, you know, their settings and their stories and stuff like that. Secret of Mana being much more traditional fantasy and stuff like that. You know, the brave hero that has to slay the evil and, you know, rescue the land and so on and so forth. And Secret of Evermore is kind of similar, except it's kind of like Earthbound, where it's just really strange, and, you know, it's just kind of a normal kid, and he likes movies, and he's got a dog, but the dog is now weird, and he has a bone that he hits people with, and yeah, Secret of Evermore is just, I think Secret of Evermore was very influential in my, like, developmental phase, as far as, like, my tastes in movies and stuff like that. Just a lot of the art design of that game and the dialogue and stuff like that. I think that Secret of Evermore is very influential for when I was growing up. And, I think Secret of Evermore is probably higher than 8. I think Secret of Evermore is higher than Secret of Mana, personally, but, again, this list is not really numbered that much. But yeah, Secret of Evermore is definitely a Saturday rainy day kind of game. Love Secret. I could just play that game over and over. Big fan of it. Secret of Mana is also very good. I like it, but it's much more traditional in its design, I think. And that's all right. You know, it's still a great game, but I definitely prefer the setting and the story and stuff of Secret of Evermore, and the dialogue and all sorts of crap like that. It's good. Yeah, so that's number 8, I guess, but don't take too much into that. Number 7, Diablo 2. Again, this would probably be higher. Diablo 2, man, oh man. So many days when I was like, 12, 13-ish. So many Saturdays were spent, or summer, like probably the summer when I was 12 or 13. One of those summers, every single damn day was spent playing Diablo 2 with my brother. Probably literally every single day. Why would we do anything else? And, I played Diablo 1 when I was... Oh, man. Yeah, Diablo 1, the first time I played that, I think I was 6. And we had the demo. We had downloaded the demo. It took all night to download. It took the entire night to download. We started it Saturday night. And we played it... Me and my dad. My dad was the one that got into it. Or got us into it. It's like, oh, this game called Diablo. And we downloaded it Saturday night. We tried it Sunday morning before church. And it was really funny. Because I come from a pretty traditional Christian family. And so my dad, being the one that gets his 6-year-old son into Diablo before church on a Sunday morning, it was really funny. And my mom was just horrified. But he's like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And so I was a big fan of Diablo. I played that a bunch. Damn. Yeah, we played Diablo a bunch, me and my brother, and it was a good game. But when Diablo 2 came out, man, oh man, nothing was really the same. Because there was a game that pretty much just, it had it all. Like, what more did you really need? All the different classes, and you could just like, we didn't even know how much loot was in the game. It seemed like it was just never-ending loot, and there was always something better to get. You could always keep improving. It was just that constant progression. And leveling, it's like, yeah, okay, level 99 is the max. I'm not sure if I ever I maybe hit 99 once back then. My original sorceress, or whatever, Magic Blaster. That's how you can tell I was 12. I named my main character Magic Blaster, and I thought it was cool. God damn it, this boss. Yeah, Magic Blaster. I think that was my highest character. And, So yeah, my brother and I would just play all day. And most of that was doing runs. We would be doing meth runs. So what we would do, I mean, if you don't know, basically back in the day, you would just keep fighting the same boss over and over to get loot. And so what we would do is we would each farm separately. We weren't really playing together at all, but we'd play in separate games. But we'd be in the same room and we'd talk. We'd have music playing and stuff like that. And so, god damn it, what we would do is when you're on somebody's friends list, when you were on somebody's friends list in Diablo 2, whenever they made a game, you'd get to see the name of the game that they made. And so what we would do is you just make a private game, and you'd set a password, and so nobody would ever join or anything like that. But we would set the name of the game to any good loot that we just got from the last run. You know, so if we just got a Barizza or something like that, or a Windforce, or whatever, we would put that as the name of the game, and so the other person would be like, "Oh, holy shit, you just got that!" So then it would be like you wouldn't say anything when it dropped. You would just put the name of the game, and so that was kind of our little thing that we would do, and so I don't know. I guess that was much more exciting to see it as the name of somebody's game rather than just being excited when it dropped. I don't know. That was just a little thing we do, but we would do that just all day, constantly run and run and run. And if you don't know, you probably don't. I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned it, but my family are big fans of Celine Dion, who gets a lot of shit, and I don't know why. I really don't. I mean, yeah, her music's very female-ish, but she's a really damn good vocalist, and she's very successful. I don't know why people hate on Celine Dion. But we've all, like, my dad had always been a huge fan of it, and so he played a lot of Celine Dion when we were just real young, and that shit just kind of sticks with you. Parents that play like Elvis or the Beatles or something like that stuff kind of usually sticks with kids sometimes. But Celine Dion was kind of our family's thing, and so when playing Diablo 2, we would listen to Celine Dion on loop, just all the CDs constantly. And I swear, it got to a point, I remember, I have a vivid memory one day of running, god damn it, of doing the Arcane Sanctuary. I was doing the Arcane Sanctuary for some reason with my brother, and this was like hour 9 or something of playing, and I think I got to a point where I didn't even hear the music. Like, it was just so, like, phased out. I was, like, it was such a weird thing, and I don't know why I remember it. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. And really, none of this has to do with anything with why Diablo 2 is a good game. So, yeah, the point of why Diablo 2 was so great was the pretty much the endless replayability and the incredible sense of progression, I guess. That would be what I would say. You just constantly feel like you could always improve your character. That's why we really like Diablo 2. And it was just damn fun. It was just damn solid gameplay. Especially with the expansion, like the reason that Diablo 3 sucked when it came out was Diablo 2 was awesome because there were so many viable builds. You could come up with all this crazy kind of builds that, like static field. You can make a static field build or some bullshit. You'd just be like, what? Yeah, sure. Yeah, most people ran cheese crap like hammer builds and crap like Hammerdins and whatever. But Diablo 3 came out and it was just like, yeah, here's what's really good. Run this and do this, and this is the best. And so just didn't grab people the same way. Anyways, yeah, so that was number 7, I guess. Whatever. It's probably way higher than that. It's Diablo 2. Next is Monster Hunter, and I'm lumping them all together because I don't need to put one single Monster Hunter as the one I'd pick, because they're all pretty similar. It'd probably be Monster Hunter Tri, because that was my real first one, but you can put anyone. And, yeah, so Monster Hunter is one of the more recent titles on this list, less fueled by nostalgia. And, Monster Hunter is great for kind of a very similar reason, I guess, in that the progression really never stops. The progression never really stops, so you constantly improve, you know, and you improve both your character visually and statistically. You get better armor, better weapons, and it looks cooler, you look more badass, so on and so forth. It hits a lot of those same itches that, you know, stuff like Diablo 2 does. But then also, you improve yourself, you know, constantly. Like that. That would not normally happen. God damn it. I hate talking. When you first start playing Monster Hunter, you're a scrub. You're a scrub both in how your character looks and how you play. Where a Great Jaggy is like, whoa, I gotta fight this thing, and then you're fighting, like, you know, shit, like, I don't know. What's the step up from Great Jaggy? I don't know. You get the point. It doesn't matter. You know, you constantly feel like you're fighting these bigger and more horrific, you know, terrifying things, but you take them down and you're just like, damn, I am a monster hunter is what I am, and it feels good, and you feel that progression. That's a great feeling. And you also improve your character at the same time, so it's just, it all kind of fits together. And then also Monster Hunter has, you know, really, it has solid gameplay. And it always has, and it's just, it works, you know. Yeah, it all kind of comes together. So, Monster Hunter, it hits a lot of the same notes as something like Diablo 2. Then is Dark Souls. And really, you could include the other Souls games in here, but Dark Souls is the best one, so that's the one I put. And again, Dark Souls and Monster Hunter have a lot in common. With the same kind of, you improve as your character improves, and, you know, you progress. But they're also very different in that Dark Souls is a lot more, why did I do that again? I know better. Dark Souls is a lot more thematic, I guess. It's a lot more about moving through an area and, you know, exploration, I guess, but not that you're exploring, but, you know, you're kind of going through places instead of just, here's a monster, you know what the location is, he's out there, go kill him, you know. It's a lot more, I don't know the word for it. Not linear, that's not what I want to say. It's a lot more, damn, I don't know the word for it. You know what I mean. And I'd probably, would I rank Dark Souls higher? I think I would. I think Dark Souls is probably more appealing to me than Monster Hunter overall. Obviously, I enjoy them both a lot. Because I think there's more variety. Yeah, I mean, variety's probably not the right word either. They're both really good. They both have their pros and cons. And, but they hit a lot of the same notes. I like Dark Souls because of how it presents its story. It's a very subtle story, you know. Which is why, you know, a lot of these Souls clones don't really work the same way. Because it's the way that they present the story that really works, you know, where it's not just, hey, here's this happened, and then this happens, and oh, this guy is this guy, and so on and so forth. It's much more subtly tragic than that. So yeah, Dark Souls, you guys know I like it. That's not a big surprise. I don't know if I'll ever beat this boss at this rate. This is why Demon Souls is not on my list. Okay, I really got to move along because I have a lot to say yet. 4 is Chrono Trigger. I don't know if I need to say anything about that. It's one of the greatest RPGs ever made. The art design, the story, all that, Magus, it all kind of, and apocalyptic, time travel. It includes so many kind of genre themes, and it does it all so well. And it's a damn good game. Number 3 is Fallout 2. Fallout 2 I discovered at a pretty young age. Probably I discovered it younger than I should have. Because it does have kind of a lot of adult themes to it, and I don't think I was at the right age for. I'm not even sure if I was 13. Maybe I was 13. God damn it. But yeah, Fallout 2 is damn good because, one, I really enjoy post-apocalyptic themes, and that is like the post-apocalyptic game. But 2, just because it was so much. There was so many interesting things packed into that game, you know? Like, there was never really anything dull going on. Everywhere you went, there was like, what's going on in here? What are these people doing? What do they want? And, oh, here's a whole town full of, mutants, and, blah, 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 and, oh, this place has a rad scorpion problem, and, oh, and then there was so many avenues of completing it. You was like, oh, we could just shoot everybody. Go through the whole game and just shoot everybody. There, screw them. Or you could go through the whole game and talk to everybody. You could just be the diplomat and, negotiate and so on and so forth. And you could be stealthy and you could do this. And there was just so much replayability to it because you never really. Every time you played it, you discovered something new, and that's just, there's a lot to say about that kind of replayability. But the writing was always spot on, and I liked the post-apocalyptic stuff, and the gameplay itself was really good. That kind of, it was turn-based, but the fact that you could, oh, I want to shoot this guy in the eyeball, or, no, I want to shoot this guy in the groin, and it's just like, oh, it's so, that was really new to me at the time. And I think I discovered Fallout 2 before Fallout 1. I think so. Maybe I discovered the Fallout 1 demo first. Yes, there was a Fallout 1 demo. It took place in Junktown, I believe. So yeah, Fallout 2, really, really good. Much like number 2 on my list, Baldur's Gate 2, which I'm playing through right now. I hope the people that are watching us play through that, you can see why it's a damn good game. I would hope so. It's good for a lot of the same reasons that Fallout 2 is good. You just have that amazing amount of replayability, but it improves on Fallout 2, I think, a lot because of the character classes and all the equipment that you can get, and just kind of the character customization is so much more involved, especially as far as you progressing and going on like that than Fallout 2 is. Fallout 2 has some of that, but not anywhere, I don't think, to the degree that Baldur's Gate 2 is. And just, the world is so interesting, There's just something constantly to see everywhere you go. Why am I not just using magic on this guy? Yeah, every time I play Baldur's Gate 2, it's just like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. What is this going on here? Oh, what are these things? And oh, man. And the gameplay is just so entertaining. I prefer to play either a spellcaster, because I think you get the greatest variety, or a thief, because they can do the most cheesy bullshit. But even playing as a fighter, it's fun. You get shit, You get to do stuff. And it always feels so intense with these combats, and Yeah, it's one of the greatest games ever made. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And then finally, number 1 on my list is Final Fantasy VI. That should be kind of a no-brainer. The story and the characters of Final Fantasy VI are unbeatable. Like, nothing will ever top that for me. Because it's just... they're so memorable. Every single one of them are so memorable. I don't really dislike any single character in Final Fantasy VI, and that's impressive. And yeah, the story is pretty much just a band of good people overcome the bad guy, but there's a lot of nuances to it, and there's the politics, and, you know, there's a lot of themes like that that a bunch of Final Fantasies touch on, but everything really comes together in Final Fantasy VI. And the gameplay is really enjoyable to me. Something about it just all comes together, and the fact that, you know, any character can really do almost anything, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think Final Fantasy VI is probably the most nostalgic one on my list. Because I remember my brother playing that game when I was very young. I think right when he got his Super Nintendo, and I was just, you know, mesmerized from watching him play that, and then when I finally played it on my own, I doubt I understood much of what was going on, but eventually it all worked out. So yeah. I don't know how helpful this list will be to MOH Rabbit, but, okay, so now we're at 56 minutes. Damn, I talked a long time for that. I do want to touch on the other subject that I was kind of been teasing about for the last month, and I can finally kind of talk about it because it's resolved now. It's over with. The female situation. I won't go into full details mostly because I don't really have time here, but also I don't think she'll ever listen to this. But if she does, I don't want to start anything. God damn it. So yeah, about a month or so ago, I think it's about a month now. I did the role manging for the Fate Core, where we did kind of the steampunk thing. That was about a month ago. And in that one, for that session, we had a player join us. And I knew this person was going to be... well, I was pretty sure this person was going to be joining us because I didn't know who she was. But they said a girl from Wisconsin was going to be joining us. I was like, oh, okay. We'll see how that goes. And so this girl joined us, and I won't name names or anything like that. Although I think I already did name. If you really cared to find out her online name, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it. So basically, as soon as this girl started talking, I was pretty smitten. Like, she had a really incredible voice as far as how pleasant it was to listen to. And I really wish I could have gotten her on to do some videos, because I'm sure my viewership would go up. It's just very pleasant sounding. But that's pretty weird, so I won't dwell on that. Anyways, but she was really she wasn't really that great of a role player, because I generally measure how good of a role player you are based on how much you play your character rather than play yourself. And I think she really only played herself ever, which is fine. I don't need to play with good role players. I don't care, but she was always very just herself, where she was kind of awkward and bubbly and, I guess, whimsical, so on and so forth. But yeah, she was a pleasure to play with, because I liked listening to her, but I also liked conversing with her, and I felt comfortable just talking with her and so on and so forth. So I was pretty smitten, I guess. And so that week went by, that first week, and I had told Ziggy, I was like, this new girl that joined us, I didn't know where from Wisconsin she was from. She could have been, you know, the northern border or something like that, but I was like, I kind of dig this chick. And so then the next week happened, and we switched back over to D&D and so on and so forth, and we continued playing. It seemed like we made like a really good duo, you know, we worked well together, and she kind of just, our characters interacted a lot, and I was like, oh, this is going really well. And so I found out, then I asked her what part of Wisconsin she's from, and she was about like a 3.5 hour drive from where I am, from basically the same place that Ziggy's wife is from. And so I was like, okay, you know, that's a bummer, you know. It would have been cooler if she was just right in town, but whatever. And so around that point, I think Ren, either I told Ren or he figured out that I was interested in her, and it's just like, you know, whatever. And I think he tried to find out if she was single, so he asked some of her online friends, who said that she might be seeing somebody, but they don't really know. She never talks about it, and was like, well, you know, we'll just keep going at it. We'll, you know, keep talking to her, whatever. I think it was around that time that I added her on Skype, and I started to message her very little amounts privately. You know, just, hey, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Basic small chatter. And so then we did the final D&D session, I think. Yeah. We did the final D&D session, and that was like, oh, okay, but yeah, I really liked being a player character with her. I thought, you know, we can keep interacting. It's cool. Me switching over to DMing, is that as good? I don't know. And we kept on messaging. I had been talking to her, and it seemed like things were going pretty well, but it also seemed like she was kind of strange. Like, occasionally she would be really friendly, and almost, you know, it seemed like she was into me, you know. She would ask me, like, you know, what I was doing that night and how it was my day and crap like that, and we'd have good conversations. And then other times she'd seem really reticent, you know. She would just kind of, like, give, like, little one-sentence responses and not really talk much at all, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. And she's very much living, I think, in a digital world. I don't think she has many real-life friends. She doesn't... Man, I don't know if I want to get that personal, but I guess it does. She will never hear this, so I guess it doesn't matter. She, like, worked part-time. She was older than me. She didn't have many friends. She lived at home with her parents, so on and so forth. She didn't have many, material prospects, I guess you could say. Which is fine. It was like, whatever, you know. Neither do I, really. But she was very much obsessed with Final Fantasy XIV, which is strange to me. I don't really consider that great of an MMO, and I've never met anybody obsessed with an MMO that wasn't WoW. So it was really kind of strange, but I was like, alright, whatever. And so we kept on talking, and I was like, okay, and then, I think it was like last Monday? Yeah, it was the day of the Bryson Springs. I messaged another player in our group. I feel like you guys probably, if you watch Rollman, you probably know everybody in the group. So the other female member of our group, and I asked her if she thought that the girl was interested in me. Like, what was her observations? And so we talked a bit, and she decided, well, I think she asked another member of our group, Ty, if, you know, about it. And he apparently said that he thought she was interested in some other guy.
Help me.
And, so I was like, okay, you know. And she recommended that I just kind of come clean and be upfront with the girl. And just be like, you know, I'm interested in you, so on and so forth. And I was like, all right, you know, if that... Normally, I never listen to anybody's advice. Like, ever. That's not what I do. I'm not the... I'm gonna listen to your advice and take it to heart and do what you say. Normally, I always make up my own mind. But I actually was not gonna do that. But she convinced me. So, I guess... thanks in the end, I suppose. And so I came clean to the girls. You know, I don't want to make a big deal out of this, but you're pretty cool. You're smart. You know, you have a good sense of humor, and I like talking to you. So you know, if you ever want to go out to dinner or something like that. And she kind of just laughed and was like, you know, it's not a big deal, but I have a boyfriend. So on and so forth. And she said, you're awesome to talk to as well, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I figured somebody like you would have a boyfriend. Because that's usually what you have to say something nice like that. And, yeah, of course, I was a little, like, you know, bummer. But I was like, there's no way this girl has a boyfriend. Like, I just really, I still don't think she has a boyfriend that lives in town with her and they go out on dates. There's no way. There's no way. A couple reasons. Well, a few reasons. One, on her birthday, basically she had an in-game birthday in Final Fantasy XIV ran by her friends. Which, yeah, you could have a boyfriend and still have that happen, but it's unlikely. That doesn't... I'm not saying it's impossible. It's just a possible piece of the puzzle. And two, she was jealous of me one night because I was at Applebee's. No girl with a steady boyfriend is jealous of a single guy sitting at Applebee's on a Thursday night, alright? Let me tell you that right now. So I was like, there's no way this girl has a boyfriend. So either she made it up, which I wouldn't have a huge issue with. I prefer if girls just use that white lie. I think that's easier. Or I think she has potentially like an online boyfriend. Like some guy that she met online, she chats with, she considers her boyfriend perhaps. Kind of like when I played WoW when I was like 16 and that girl showed me her boobs. But that's a whole different story. I'm not talking about that. But I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just keep talking to her. You know, maybe something will happen at some point. And so we did the Bryson Spring thing, and it was all good. And then later on in the week, she messaged like our Skype group saying she wasn't going to be able to make it to tomorrow's session, start of the campaign. And she was like, I got some things that I'm going to be taking care of that I've been putting off. And so I messaged her privately. And I was like, oh, you're going to be missing out. And she's like, yeah, I've been feeling like physically-ish lately. Which apparently ish is like slang for shit. I don't know why we don't like saying shit anymore. So she was feeling like physical shit, and alright, she was feeling like shit lately, and I was like, physically shit, and she was like, and mentally too. Anywho, I'm going into work now, laters, and I'm like, you can't just leave somebody hanging like that you're feeling like mentally shit. And so, God, why do I keep falling into this trap? And so I was like, oh, geez, you know, message me later then. And she never messaged me later. And so I was like, you never messaged me later. And she never responded to that. And so the next day I was like, you know, are you doing all right? And she, like 6 hours later, then she's like, oh, I'm good. What's up? And I'm like, oh, you know, can't just say shit like that. She's like, oh, I'm just tired, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, okay. And then I said, I don't want this to be weird or anything, but I'm going to be up in your neck of the woods next weekend with Ziggy and his wife. They invited me up there to hang out. And so you're welcome to join us one night to go out for drinks or something like that. And your boyfriend is welcome to join us as well. I had to throw that in because I was like, there's no way this girl is a boyfriend. And she basically replied with, that's all right. I don't really feel comfortable with the idea, but you guys have fun. I hear the weather's going to be nice. And I'm like, oh, I understand. I figured it would be, we don't really know each other, blah, blah, blah. Then, like 30 minutes later, she unfriends me on Facebook and leaves the Skype group. Without saying anything more. That was it. And so, apparently, she got so offended or uncomfortable or whatever with my offer that was just it. Like, she thought I was just getting way too close, I guess. I was going to just show up at her door and kidnap her. I don't know. I don't know what she thought, but she was done with it. But instead of just handling it like a mature adult, of which she is older than I am, and just being like, you're kind of overstepping the line a little bit there, Mangg. You're making me a little uncomfortable. I just want to play Call of Cthulhu, so on and so forth. But no, just, unfriend, never talk to you, done, get out of here. I figured there was a possibility of making her uncomfortable. I was fully prepared. I didn't really expect to go up there and her to just join us for a wild night of drinks. Like, I didn't expect that, but it was just kind of putting it out there, just like, hey, I'm gonna be up there. I would have extended that offer to pretty much anybody in our group. If I was going to London, I would have messaged Ren, although I've known him for a while, I guess. And he's a guy. But I could abduct guys just the same. Anyways. So yeah. That's kind of the end of that story. I didn't really expect her reaction. It's probably for the best, I guess. She was, she was strange, and I don't think it would have really worked out between us even if she was into me. 'Cause she was a dog person, so... But also, like, she was just too sheltered, I guess, for my taste. And you can be kind of a homebody. I'm a homebody. I don't mind that, but... Where it's just like... All she really did was play Final Fantasy and watch YouTube videos, like, all day. Like, she didn't even want to really work anymore. It was just, she lived with her parents, she was happy where she was, and that was just the end of it. And it was just like, if you were a guy, I'd probably call you a loser. I'm sure I just offended somebody. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't have a... I'm not really upset by it. It's a bummer that I guess I kind of screwed her out of a lot of fun times with the Call of Cthulhu campaign. Because that's basically what I did. Like, if I had never talked to her privately, she would have just played in the campaign, we would have had a good time, and that would have been the end of it. So I feel guilty for that. I feel bad. But if she would have just kind of discussed it like an adult, that's exactly what could have happened. She could have just kept on playing. You can't tell a guy he's awesome to talk to and then just, nope, get out of here. I don't know. So, yeah. I don't know what the lesson here is. I guess... don't creep out girls online, I suppose. really don't do pretty much anything online. It's just a bad idea. I don't know. I'm sure she'll live a happy life. But that is just another story in the Mangg pile for me. Yeah, so the Call of Cthulhu campaign then will continue without her, but the problem was, I think her and the other guy, the Ty in our group, I think they were pretty close as far as friends. I think they hung out a lot, and they conversed a lot and stuff like that. And so today, Ty posts in the Skype group that he's been kind of really wavering on sticking with the group because of his work and trying to get home on, Monday nights just to get into the campaign and stuff like that. It's been really tough, so he's going to have to bow out. I don't really believe any of that. I'm pretty sure he bowed out because he probably thinks I'm some goddamn freak. I don't know. Yeah, so we lost 2 members there, and then he was going to bring in another member. So that person's probably not going to join. So we basically went from 6 to 3 very quickly. So Reefly, if you're listening to this, which I know you are, what do you got to do? We're thinking about switching to Sunday nights around 7 CST, if that works better and you want to join up with us. We notified our good buddy Charlie Chalk, who you may remember from the Mask campaign. We're going to try to get him back in. I think he'll join up with us. So that would put us back up to 5, which would be where I'd be comfortable. Either way, even though if we just get 3 or 4 or whatever, we're going to forge ahead because I spent a lot of money on this campaign and I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm not giving up on it now. So, yeah, that's going to happen. This is probably the longest Hanging with Mangg yet. The game discussion took a long time. And then I had to tell that whole story. Yeah. Yeah. Women. I don't know. Again, I feel bad, and I guess hindsight is 2020. I probably wouldn't have. I probably wouldn't have. If I could take back the invitation to come out with us, I would. But it's too late now. Lesson learned. So I think that's gonna wrap up this Hanging with Mangg. It's been a long one. I've died many a times, and I'm done talking for the evening. So yeah, look forward to more Baldur's Gate 2. Look forward to maybe some Chinatown, some BSG, some shit like that. That'll be really cool. Really cool. But my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. See you fine folks next week.